Hi everybody, my name is Juan. I am just one reader and I am here to review How the Blessed Live by Susanna M. Smith. This is a Canadian novel set in different parts of Canada. It was published in 2002 by Coach House Books. It's roughly 170 pages long. I think this classifies as fabulous fiction. It's definitely drenched with mythology, but it is pretty much a family drama. The only thing I will say about the plot is that we follow three characters mainly. One of them is the father, and we follow the father and his two children from the age that from the day they're born pretty much, and up until they are in like their 20s. It's a family drama. It's a family story. It has a lot to do with loss, what people do with loss, what happens in people's lives in terms of how they process the things that they lose and the people that they lose, and what happens with the different paths that everybody takes. So I really enjoyed the themes of loneliness, of anxiety, of loss, of mourning, of family, of mental disorders, as well as something that Suzanne M. Smith discusses particularly with one character. There's also the very general theme of art and storytelling and stories and how stories are important. So if you enjoy those themes, I think this story has a lot of potential for you. Now, the writing style that Susanna M. Smith uses in this novel, which I believe is her first and only novel, although right here it says that she was writing her second novel, but I don't think she ever published it, or it's not really on the popular knowledge. So this is a novel, like I said, in which her writing style is so lush and so sumptuous and so beautiful. It definitely reads like poetry. It's so beautiful that it reads very much like poetry. It includes poetry, and sometimes even though she has characters speaking, or she's just narrating something with normal sentences, sometimes it feels like poetry. Even if it's not actual poetry, it feels like poetry. It sounds like poetry. So if you enjoy things like that, this is a wonderful book to read out loud, to read carefully with a lot of attention to detail. It's a very delicious feeling, textured kind of book. I'm not really sure that worked 100% for me. I think it worked many times, but not all the times. Sometimes I felt that the beautiful quality of the prose, the poetic, lyrical prose, was getting in the way for me, and it was creating a little bit of distance. I found myself having to reread certain passages because I had just lost myself in how beautiful it was, and I just hadn't really paid any attention whatsoever to what was actually going on. But that being said, that's not really much of a flaw. I mean, who can complain about a book being too beautiful or overly lyrical? However, this did sometimes feel slow and a little bit plotless, although that's just the kind of book it is. I really couldn't complain, or I couldn't really pinpoint what's the flaw. I guess this is just more of a it's not you, it's me kind of situation, because I'm not maybe the best reader for this type of book. So this book felt overall like a very dreamlike, very beautiful experience, and I would actually recommend it. I gave it 3.5 on Goodreads, although maybe deserves a 4 or higher. The few people that have reviewed it and recommended it have loved it. And I'm talking about people such as Acacia Ives, Amanda Center, probably Jen Campbell and Mercedes, people that I really trust and love, and I'm pretty sure everyone here on BookTube loves, and we all value their recommendations, and they're usually very good recommendations that fit my taste. However, This one, it was just a little bit too poetic for me. I did really enjoy it. I just think I was maybe not the right target audience for it. However, something that I want to start doing in my book reviews, such as this one, is I want to, if I can and to the best of my ability, I want to recommend you something in case you enjoyed this book or the way that I talked about this book. So if you enjoyed How the Blessed Live by Susanna M. Smith or the way that I talked about it and described it like, I think you could enjoy either The Vegetarian by Han Kang or Swamplandia by Karen Russell. These novels are also very dreamlike, very sumptuous, very lush, very lyrical. They're very heavy on language. Language is a very important, almost central aspect of the book, and these books, just like How the Blessed Live, they have a lot to do with the characters and most importantly the families and the dynamics that these families have. They are very dark. The Vegetarian is probably the darkest one. Swamplandia has a lot of humor as well, but it's also incredibly harsh. They're both two of my favorite books that I've read this year. Swamplandia is one of my favorite books of all time. It's my favorite novel from 2016 that I've read so far, at least. So I would recommend both of them if you enjoyed How the Blessed Live. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you for the next review.